Growing up, I never watched the original Steven Spielberg film, The Color Purple, because it looks so heavy and disturbing, but now I have the opportunity with fresh eyes to watch this new, bold telling of the classic story. And I get to find out if it really has anything to do with purple, which I've been wondering for 30 years. I'll discuss that and more in this spoiler-free review of the new musical version of The Color Purple. But first, it really helps me with the algorithm if you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, and you'll never miss any of my future reviews. Nettie and Celie are African-American sisters growing up in Georgia at the beginning of the 1900s. Their strict father shows discipline but very little compassion. When he sells Celie to be married to the contemptible, much older Mr., her relationship with Nettie is severed.
Even if we have to part, you and me, us have one heart.
What follows is a tragic story of family, friends, and faith that spans decades. But the adversity faced by these sisters can't suppress their love for one another. My teenage daughter's favorite thing in the world is musicals, so I considered letting her watch this film with me, but I know as her father she's a very sensitive viewer, so I thought, I'll watch it first just in case there's something upsetting. Let me tell you, that was the correct decision. I will say, from the first frame, The Color Purple establishes that it's going to be both a visual feast and a feast for your ears, but it's also going to show the depths of evil to which humans are capable. When we first meet the sisters, Nettie, played by the Little Mermaid's Halle Bailey, is the favored daughter, while Celie, who's pregnant, is treated poorly, to the point that her father takes her newborn baby to give it to God, which is about the most horrifying thing I've ever heard. While we get to see the love the two girls share, it's shattered when Celie is forced to marry Mr. She is forbidden to see Nettie, and at this point the story focuses on Celie. We see the inappropriate role she must assume as a wife and mother to kids practically her own age. We see her passive disposition taken advantage of again and again. As the years go by, there seems to be no end to Celie's suffering, until she meets celebrity singer Shug Avery, as well as her stepson's bold fiancée, Sophia. With strong women now in her life, Celie finally sees hope for her future. As I mentioned at the beginning, I avoided the 80s version of this film because it looks so disturbing. And I was right. This new, bold version of The Color Purple has fun musical pieces set to impressive choreography and settings. The magnificent cinematography takes you back in time and looks simultaneously beautiful and haunting. But despite these qualities, the underlying unjust story never wavers. The joy that characters seldom experience seems like a facade hiding their persistent hopelessness. American Idol alum Fantasia plays adult Celie powerlessly, but you can see a fire burning deep inside her passive demeanor. And she obviously shines when she sings the Southern gospel jazzy blues featured throughout the film. Taraji P. Henson is good as always as songstress Shug Avery, but my favorite and the standout performance is Danielle Brooks as Sophia. Celie's soon-to-be stepdaughter-in-law. It's complicated.
You seem like trouble.
I come here out of respect. But if there ain't none to get, there sure ain't none to give.
Overshadowed by the ladies, but not forgotten, are a couple male characters. Coleman Domingo portrays the repugnant Mr., and his son Harpo is played sheepishly by Corey Hawkins, who I think is always great. This film is beautiful, whether it's the sun setting through the hanging Spanish moss, a dancing chain gang, or my favorite, Taraji's red dress in a blue swamp. Every frame of The Color Purple looks like a painting. The music, though not my style, is clearly excellently crafted and well performed. The message overall is positive, but the bleakness of the story overpowered my appreciation of that positive. As dark as this film is, there are moments of healing and forgiveness, but for me, those moments didn't feel earned because the years pass by so quickly in this movie. Text on the screen will literally say 6 years later. I didn't get to experience those positive moments. They felt glossed over. For instance, there are moments when relationships, marriages are broken. I mean serious marital strife, but a few scenes later, they have been reconciled with no explanation. Years of abuse or neglect are forgiven because maybe characters sing a duet together. If this was an episode of Seinfeld, they would say, he abused her, had an affair, and left her, yada yada yada, they're back together. Hey, I'm all about forgiveness and mercy, but it feels false in this movie when decades of physical and emotional harm can be overlooked when someone enters a room hanging their shoulders and looking a tad contrite. There are a couple heartwarming moments that really worked for me. One of those moments is when two characters are walking through a field of wildflowers, and they admire the purple blossoms, hence the title, and they understand those purple flowers are a direct gift from God and should be appreciated. That being said, the majority of these moments of happiness in this film still felt painful. And though it isn't a true story, the book it's based on is supposed to represent true stories of that time, and perhaps these bittersweet emotions are exactly what they're aiming for, but for me, I mainly just felt the bitter part. The Color Purple comes out on Christmas Day. It's a well-crafted film with many qualities, but its sorrowful tones, sexual content, and domestic violence may crush the holiday cheer that families are hoping for this time of year.